So I've been scrolling YouTube and I came across a clip. It was a clip of Biden and Obama. And the commentary basically was they may not be on the same page when it comes to getting out the vote.
Maybe Biden and Obama are not on the same page. Well, and campaign manager Quentin said this in regards to Biden and Obama. We're going to continue to do what we need to do in order to be competitive and in order to make sure we're growing the infrastructure that we need to win. President Obama and Biden talk frequently, as do the campaign and former operatives from President Biden's administration and his campaign. So, of course, that came from Quentin Folks, who is...
What stood out to me was one use of words, because it was a description of getting out the people of color and Hispanic, as if Hispanic is not people of color anymore.
I don't know if a lot of people picked up on it, but maybe it's just me. And he said this: look, our campaign has been awake since the president announced in April, which is why we've come out of the gate swinging. It's why we've put innovating organizing programs in place to begin to communicate with voters on the ground, which is why we've made investments into constituency media, the largest investment to our voters of color, Hispanic voters, young voters, and than any other presidential campaign in history. Let's back it up a little bit. He said voters of color and Hispanic voters. Y'all see the difference he made there? What did they used to say not too long ago? Before, they was calling us minorities. Then they started calling us people of color. Then they started saying people of color and black people. Now they're starting to say people of color and Hispanics.
And if you... viewers out there, if you go back and check our other videos, we have extensively covered that. So you may want to just go through them videos and check out a little bit of that, what our viewpoints and predictions are on that. But I just found that pretty odd that the president would be using that specific wording when there is such a divisiveness going on when it comes to the border crisis and Hispanics in this country pertaining to other minority groups, and how it seems once again the blacks have been leapfrogged in exchange for something, or may be being offered something in exchange for their support. Because once again, like the Hispanic vote has pretty much historically aligned with the Republicans. They share similar family values and belief systems like that. So that's no secret. But now with the Hispanic demographic becoming huge, now it seems that the political parties are definitely leaning more into that, even more so than the people of color vote. Because we're the people of color vote now. Used to be anybody who was non-white was the people of color. Now it's people of color and Hispanic. So that just stood out a little bit to me. What you think?
Well, what I think, because in that same video, it's on from the African Diaspora Channel.
Shout out to them. Shout out.
It showed when Biden actually made the statement of when he was meeting with I don't know, was it Black Congressional Congress or...
Oh, that President-elect Biden, before he actually went into the White House, he got with the misleadership of black people, if you will. Y'all remember that infamous Zoom call when he told them, enough, y'all gonna have to learn how to work with the Hispanics.
Whatever, but he was talking to them and he was telling them that, you know, why are you complaining about what you think and I haven't done or I won't be doing? What you need to do, you need to get with the Hispanics.
If we cannot make significant progress on racial equity, this country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. Hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics. And we got to figure out how to unify this country.
And they tried to walk that back. And I think I got a clip of that, and I'll probably put it in the video.
Okay.
But I was telling people then, we look at stuff the wrong way. What do I mean by that? You need to go get with the Hispanics. We're looking at it as he's saying, go hook up with the Hispanics and benefit with them, and without them, you won't be able to. What we're not understanding is this, what me and you seen when we was in. When we seen that the census was going to add Hispanic to the census, and they said that you do not have, Hispanic is not an ethnic group, it's not a race. It's what is it? Is it an ethnic? No, it's not ethnic. It's a culture or something. And I'm kind of getting my words screwed up. But the whole point is anybody can declare themselves as Hispanic. What era are we going in? We're going into an era of their defining everything. You're not a male no more. You're not a female. You're pronouns now. And you have to declare your pronoun. Yeah. We're going to do a video on that one day, talking about pronoun.
Yeah, you self-declare.
You self-declare. You declare yourself as him. That's a pronoun. We understand him as male. The law dictionary defines him as neutral. It's neither male or female, and it can also be defined as it. It is a thing. If you're black, you were a it before, meaning you were a possession. Look at the legal definition of these pronouns. We say Gen Z. When you look up Z, that's neutral, no sex. Everything is being redefined. Black people, it's not that they're saying, go get with Hispanic. At some point, you're going to be labeled a Hispanic.
Where you going? San Diego. Oh, San Diego. You? Senegal. Where you going? New York. Thank you. You? Senegal. Where you going? New York. Where you going? Senegal. Where you from? Where you going? New York. You?
Senegal, New York.
Thank you.
Senegal.
New York. Thank you.
Senegal. New York.
Thank you.
Senegal, New York.
Thank you.
Senegal, New York.
All right, so who do you want as president? A travel agent or...
That's why they're bringing these minority groups into black-centered areas, because as soon as you have a baby with one, they're going to label that child as Hispanic.
Southern border invaded, baby making.
We need immigrants in this country, many illegal immigrants. The fact is that the birth rate in this country is way below replacement level.
What are those solutions? The solutions includes putting resources at the border to do what we can to process people effectively and putting in place laws that actually allow for a meaningful pathway to citizenship.
Process more foreigners and put them on a pathway to citizenship.
What you don't understand is this. I've stated this before. We got a video on this. When the United States took over Texas and that whole western Arizona, all that belonged to Mexico, basically robbed them of it, the Mexican government contacted the United States with an issue, basically, advocating for their people that was in that landmass that we basically annexed. The United States said that we were going to take care of them. We gave an opportunity for them to become and get American citizenship. But they had to declare themselves as white. And there were certain groups that didn't want to do it. And they told them that they would not be allowed to get these benefits as an American citizen unless they did it. At some point, black people, you're going to have the option to declare yourself as Hispanic. Now, why I'm saying this is because what they did was once they declared themselves as white, the same group of people tried to sue the United States government for what it did when annexing the land and the depravities that they experienced through that. United States government told them they could not sue because they were white. United States is letting 18 million people across the border. They're doing it because we're having a population dearth.
Democrats also want the southern border invaded. for crop picking and baby making.
We need immigrants in this country. Our vegetables would rot in the ground if they weren't being picked by many immigrants, many illegal immigrants. The fact is that the birth rate in this country is way below replacement level, which means our population is going to start shrinking. And the ratio of people on Social Security and Medicare is going to increase relative to the number of people supporting them.
So it doesn't matter that your son...
Europe been going through it.
Yep.
There's not enough kids being born here.
Even
white people, listen. I mean, and I'm just saying Caucasian people, European descent. Listen, they're trying to annex you as well because your population is down. You're not having enough kids. This country needs labor. So all these years they've been telling you they're trying to keep them out. No, they're not. They need labor. So they're letting the cheap labor come across the border. They're giving them all these benefits, helping them get set up because the United States is rebranding. And black people, when you're labeled as Hispanics, when it comes time to get what you got coming, you're not going to get it because you're not black. You're Hispanic now. And whites are going to be labeled, or Europeans are going to be labeled under Hispanic. That's what's going on. So when they're saying you need to go get with Hispanic, my cousin said this a long time ago. Dr. Claude Anderson, saying that we were basically losing our preferential minority standing and we were going to be below Hispanics and we would never recover. That's happening right now. But they're going to basically envelop us into the description of Hispanic. That's what's going on. That's the lick. They're getting out of pain. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's like, when you look at the U.S., right, we have a history of situational. So, all right, the Europeans came over. If you remember, when the poor Europeans were first coming to the U.S., they faced discrimination as well.
Yeah.
The Italians, the Irish, the Polish.
The only people
the
that
Jews
were European. British were the only ones considered white. They gave them white privilege as they needed them.
As it became more useful.
Exactly. But now it's not useful. The term of white is not useful no more because of the dearth in population. So now they're going to go ahead and label everybody. And what did my fraternity brother tell me? Because when I first stumbled upon the stuff about the him, her, and all being neutral, he said, you are correct. That is the right legal definition. He said, because right now, Biden is trying to push a neutral race, sexual neutrality to make, saying that he feels this needs to happen to eliminate all the tension and the biases between each other based on race, sex, and the whole nine.
To say everyone's everything, then there can't be discrimination.
Exactly, which goes along with what we did a movie on, a thing on too, with Clone Tyrone. Exactly. Assimilation is, what is that?
Yeah, better than annihilation.
Annihilation. Make everybody the same. So if you become the same as the definition of how it's understood of European white, then this country don't owe you nothing because they really don't have it to pay you. They're going to try to make everyone the same.
Yeah, it gives a new understanding to the term self-determination. Once upon a time, it pertained particularly to your ability to raise your standing in life. Now it's taking a completely different meaning. Your ability to self-determine means every aspect of you, from race, culture, belief system, or sexuality, gender, all of that is defined by you now. And in exchange, as we've seen and discussed on this podcast multiple times, when the government gives you something, it's in exchange for something. So yeah, you can label yourself a whatever now. What are you giving up in exchange for that right?
We were labeled Indians. We were labeled coloreds. Legal definitions now. Indian, coloreds, Negro, African American, so on and so forth. We're constantly being redefined. Understand what I'm saying. Legally, what do I mean by legally? Look up the definition, legal definition of these words. The what's the Supreme Court justice, the black lady? Johnson or Jackson or her last name. Anyways, when she was being in front of the Judiciary Committee being questioned, one of the representatives asked her to define a woman. She told her she couldn't.
For the word woman.
Can I provide a definition? No.
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
The meaning of the word woman is so unclear and controversial that you can't give me a definition?
Senator, in my work as a judge, what I do is I address disputes. If there's a dispute about a definition, people make arguments, and I look at the law and I decide.
Well,
so I'm not.
The fact that you can't give me a straight answer about something as fundamental as what a woman is underscores the dangers of the kind of progressive education that we are hearing about.
And we looked at it like, what the hell is you can't define a woman. Yeah. And she's basically saying, I interpret the law.
Yeah.
You would have to basically give me a scenario, give me some legal briefs so I could look, and then I could define it. What is she saying? Found this out from a lawyer. Words in law, you cannot use words and the definition of words in a legal proceeding because it's unstable. Words gets you to an area of understanding. It do not get you to the understanding. And he told me that the document, the words within the document will define the meaning of the way it's using the word. So you can use the word and say him. If you do not define him within the document as meaning male, then they have to go to the legal understanding, which is neutral. So what she was telling her, without you giving me legal documentation, I cannot tell you the meaning of woman because it's elusive, it's fluid. It could mean this, it could mean male in this document, or it could mean female in this document, or it could mean transgender in this document. It depending on how the word is used. And how Hispanic is being used as neutral. The same way all of the pronouns have been redefined as neutral. She does not mean female no more. Him does not mean male no more. Legal definitions, look them up. Because that's where this fiction is being played out. There. Not in the common way that we use language.
It's an interesting time to be alive because, especially a person like me, right? So I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, became an adult during the 2000s. So I've seen this transition. I've seen the slow creep of progress. And the fact that the definition of a common word, something as uniform, something as universal as him and her, like that's how we learn language. This is the masculine way to say it. This is the feminine way to say it. And the fact that masculine and feminine is being eliminated should show you what's going on around you.
It should. It should.